Well, hello. I am here today with Larisa Sharapova. Sharipova. There we go. I said it right the second time. That's a tough one for me. But tell us a little bit about how long you've been doing your meetup and where you're located.
We start Meetup in 2017 and we are located outside of Philadelphia. We actually only one in Pennsylvania who is still doing it.
Oh, okay. Were you one of the first ones?
No, actually we were a second one, and the first one was very close to us, and we went to see and check how they're doing it. And we start our own, but their stop, it didn't go well with them. So now we just only one left and we continue doing it.
Okay, well, tell us a little bit about you and what you do for a living and your role and what made you decide to start it and who you actually decided to put this on with.
I was trained as a medical doctor, as an OBGYN back in Europe, actually in Russia. And when I came here about over 20 years ago, 23 years ago, I wanted to become a doctor and I took all my boards. And when I was studying for my boards, I work in a American medical system and realized that I won't be able to practice this way to sustain my life and practice. So I decided to go to Institute for Integrative Nutrition and become board certified holistic health practitioner, specializing in women's health, particularly natural hormonal balancing, because that's what my specialty was back home. So I'm doing women's health with lifestyle in nutrition. So when I moved to Pennsylvania, maybe 6 years ago, I was new to this area and I wanted to find like-minded people, and I went to different networking events, and one time I met another practitioner and we decided to start Functional Forum Meetup. And I was already following James with his meetup when he started in New York, and we love it. So I was watching at home, and she was doing the same thing. I said, well, let's do it together. And we found that there is another meeting was going on, and we went 2 times to their meetings and thought, well, we probably can do it too. And so that's when we started with my co-hosts, so 2 of us. And in the beginning, we start meeting in the libraries because we didn't have any other space of public library, but it wasn't convenient because they rushed us out. And so we did maybe twice, and we had like 5, 6 people who like our friends probably and people who we know. And later on, we start looking for other spaces. So another practitioner joined us as a co-host and offer her space. So, and in a year, maybe we grow out of that space and we start renting university library. So that was convenient for us. And we found a sponsor. It was Integrative Therapeutics. So they paid for the room because it wasn't free. And we provide some snacks and food. So we grow to maybe 20 people, 30 people. But initially, how we start looking for people, we went to public library, and with references list, we found functional medicine doctors, different practitioners like chiropractors, naturopathic doctors, and we compiled them in our database. But what I noticed, because I'm taking care of technical part, like schedule meetings, send emails, newsletter to invite them to our group, 100 people. So our group, our list become like 450 people. That's what we compile with all these references. But I noticed that 100 people unsubscribed. So it's mean that they were not interested to collaborate and were not looking for the community. So, but of course, 300 people never show up, but still we have an average like 20 people every month, and we're doing monthly since then. We do sometimes breaks in the summer, like July, August, we take breaks, or if there is like bad weather, we just have to cancel, but we are doing strongly. And since COVID, we decided to go virtually.
So you said you had about 4 new people every month. Is that what you said?
How we get people, that just people tell other people to come, and we always have somebody new. So, and people always change. Yeah, and now we grow organically. So those 300 people that we send emails, maybe only 10% show up, maybe even less. But people who come most of the time, they invite other people, they reference. And every time I go to any meetings and I see somebody who's in our space, I invite to our meetings. So we grow organically, I would say.
Does the sales rep still help sponsor your dinner? And do they help provide, help to spread the word on your behalf as well?
Yeah, we went to a few of their dinners and invite their practitioners, and they refer to us to our group, their practitioners. Well, integrative therapeutics, they sponsor our live events, and later on we found a free space, so we didn't need to pay for the space, but he provide money to pay for the food, so that was helpful. And we always had food in our meetings, and sometimes we did celebration, like a Christmas celebration. When we went virtually, we wanted to continue do virtual meetings. We didn't need food and we didn't need money on that part, but another sponsor show up and offer his assistance from Cyrex Lab. So they provide all Zoom meetings. I don't have to pay for professional accounts, and because he provide all that. So that's also helpful with sponsorship.
Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like getting out and getting connected to sales reps from supplement companies or lab companies has really been beneficial for you. And
very beneficial, of course. Yeah.
And also with even helping to spread the word to other, because they have access to their list, right? And so I've always encouraged Meetup hosts to get connected and just keep asking, right? So I applaud you for your going to the library and just like, you know, trying to find people organically. But yeah, it does grow. So do you use the forum as so you watch the forum for about an hour and then have an open discussion? Tell us a little bit about how a meeting looks.
When we started, we just followed the James meeting we did at the same time and watched together, and sometimes had discussion after that a little bit. But people start saying that, well, we can watch at home. What's the point to come and watch together? So some of them stopped coming, and we always run survey to our group, what they want, how they want to continue, what they want to hear. So a lot of them say that we want to hear from our local practitioners, and so we start invite practitioners to speak and talk about what they do, about different topics. Sometimes we relate topic to the monthly meeting that James put it up, sometimes not. So we just go what people want. We always survey and ask people, please give us feedback, so that we continue to run. And what's interesting, last survey we did, when we start doing Zoom meetings, because, you know, people tired of all Zooms that going on now. And in the beginning, when COVID started, we even put our meeting to the public because all information about COVID need to be shared. And we did join meetings, practitioners and public, and run them weekly. It was like in March, probably, we had weekly meetings for practitioners and public together. And it was a lot of information, and public love it. And now we even have public functional forum group of people that we have emails, so we can utilize them and use for later. Or sometimes we do join meetings if the topic is relevant, for example, like resilience or stress. So we invite public to our meetings. It's I know that, and that was our goal, to have meetings for practitioners where we can discuss cases and do different things, but sometimes it's relevant to everybody. So that's why we do combine meetings. And when people stop coming to Zooms later on, because in the beginning it was okay, but in May and June, we see the dropout. So we sent survey and we were concerned, should we continue meeting at all or just stop and not do functional forum? So 100% of people who respond, it was about like 25 people who usually we have, 100% they say we want to continue. So that's why we continue in providing services in community. Of course, on Zoom, you don't have a much network. but we have always topics that people are interested in, speakers, and we have Q&A after that. So we can't wait to become live and, and start networking again.
So do you typically have a speaker that kind of runs the, okay, so yeah, I was going to say, just tell us a little bit about the structure of how your meetup goes.
For Zoom or live?
For Zoom, yes, for Zoom.
Okay, so for Zoom, we introduced ourselves because I had until last month, I have two other co-hosts with me who dropped on me because I guess they didn't see return on investment, but for me, it was a different goal. So I continue. People want to do it. So I said, I'm continuing with this and I'm by myself now. I'm looking for other co-hosts. But if people want to go, so we introduce ourselves, introduce our sponsors, and we introduce speakers. Speaker talk maybe for about an hour, and we have a Q&A after that. And that's all our meetings.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and if we have any event scheduled, so we announce that, or if we have already for next month speakers, we announce it in the end, and that's the structure.
So what has been the biggest, I guess, surprise for you, or maybe where has the most satisfaction, what has been the most satisfying thing for you as a host in just putting this thing on in general? Anything?
For me, why I started the meeting, because to find like-minded people and create a community so people can collaborate together and refer to each other. But you could have local community, if you need to refer your client or patient somewhere, you trust that person, and particularly if they already spoke about their practice and then what they do. So it's like a trust relationship creation. And surprising for me, it was that I thought they want to drop those virtual meetings if they don't want to do it, but 100% people answers they want to continue. So I was happy to continue that. And now we have already speakers scheduled for December and for January. So I'm very excited to continue that.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. Yeah, it's good that you just, kept pressing on and doing it. I think it's the consistency and you keep showing up. So what would you say to someone who's thinking about being a meetup host, or maybe who's been a meetup host, but has just been discouraged and not doing much because of this COVID time? What would you say to them?
I think ask people what they want. It's the best thing to do, because sometimes you think one way, but other people have different opinions, and ask people their opinions, their feedback, what they like, what they dislike, what they want to change, what speakers they want to hear, what topics, or if they want to be a speaker or sponsor. So just survey people and ask, and you get an answer, sometimes unexpected, but what you're gonna do, that's what they want. And if I'm as a host I'm doing whatever they want to do as a group, so as a community, and I'm just providing a space for people.
Exactly. And so what's great about being the meetup host is you create the container, but you're also wanting to please your community, right? So the people that are coming to the dinners. And I think there's also a fine line with that. Like, you're going to get maybe 10 different opinions, and it's really your show at the end of the day. And I found that sometimes when I would get 10 different opinions, I just would go with what I felt. Sometimes I kind of went with my gut instinct, and at the end of the day, people still show up. So what they really want is they want community, and reminding everybody, this is why we're doing this. Please tell other people. Please contribute to the meetings. Raise your hand or speak, have comments, and that's really what makes it. It's not always just being spoken at, right? It's kind of hearing from everybody and letting everybody have a chance to talk.
And also I see that probably most of the people, like a core people who usually comes to the meetings, they brought at least one person, because they want to share that there is a community and you can join. So I'm very great, and they are very grateful for what we do. Every meeting they say, we are so grateful that you create. We know how difficult it is, that it takes your time, and so and they're grateful, and I'm grateful back for them, because if not them, I won't be here. I won't be hosting it. So.
Exactly. It's this, and and for all you hosts that are listening to this, just know that you've got to, again, let them know how thankful you are and what you need, which is for them to tell others so that this can actually grow. So I guess if I had to say in wrapping up, what is the best tip you could give to, other than you said, keep asking, but if there's any little clinical or I'm sorry, functional form pearl or putting together a group, what would you say would be your best tip?
Just do it, because it's not only for you, but for other people. So if you want to be in a community, of course, it's not for everybody. If I don't want to deal with anybody, if I want to be just by myself, it's not for me. So it's not for everybody. If you think that you need a community to support yourself, create it.
Right. Oh, that's the greatest advice. Exactly. Because nobody's coming to rescue you. So if this is something you're wanting, then it's going to take you doing it, and just consistency is key. So thank you so much. I appreciate your time today.
You're welcome.